All right, welcome to another man's point of view. I am the Space Luchador. I am your host, and today I'm bringing to you a little puzzle that I like to call the whiteboard. Now, this is hypothetical, theoretical, and philosophical, right? But it is nonetheless doesn't make it not real. It is real, right? Now, let me go ahead and explain to you what the whiteboard is. It's a simple premise, right? So the way this one works, right, is that you got to basically understand that a woman is basically a whiteboard, right? Now this is to depict how it works, right, and how you use it. Like I always say, it's a tool, right? So let me go ahead and bring my whiteboard. Bam, there it is. Right, so this is the whiteboard. Now let me show you what I'm talking about. This would be the ideal thing that you want. Straight up, clean, brand new, untouched, right? Unused whiteboard, right? However, nowadays, right, we don't have that. We have, to give you an example, right? Got like stains here and there, right? Bam, bam. Now this is still a good whiteboard. Now, of course, a few scratches here and there, right? Maybe some fingerprints. It ain't pristine, is the point, right? But let's not touch that because that's taboo. So let's go ahead and start with one of these, right? So one of these, to go ahead and explain how it works, is like this. Anything that happens to a woman, right, would go on the whiteboard, right? Now, usually guys end up with women that already have, some writing on it, right? Blam, blam. Now you go out with the eraser and you can't do nothing about it, right? So now let me show you. Let me see if I don't botch once again the explanation, right? So the ones you have to worry about basically are scratches, right? Damages, right? Um, Injury, right? Especially psychological um, damage, which would be like heartbreak and stuff like that, right? But sometimes some guys, right, will leave messed up lines, right? Like bam, like this way, right? Or this way. Now you got a deeper injury, right? So the way it works is like this. When you come across one of these, right, you, believe it or not, have to upstage whatever this is. So you come in, right, and do this, right? And I know how it sounds. It sounds crazy. But this is an explanation to show you how it works, a depiction, right, of the man's point of view of how you go ahead and upstage stuff like this, right? Like you could do, let's say you do this, right? Your marker is just that much thicker, which overrides whatever this was. That's basically what it is. So upstaging, it's called, right? You upstage, which means you direct attention towards yourself, right? You do a superior act, which once again, directing your attention to yourself, and therefore all this would not matter, right? Because you've become the one in that particular situation, right? So you raise the bar, right? Set a higher standard, right? So now let me give you an example, quick example of a single mom, right? So you do this, a single mom, right, has a kid, bam. Now you got a stain on the whiteboard, which means there's nothing you can do. That's why I always say, stay away from that. There's absolutely nothing you can do. Even if you come in with your little marker, right, because you can see nothing happens. Why? Because it's blacked out. That's it. You're done. Now the way it works is like this, right? You got bandages, right? You got stitches, right? um, cracks. All this can happen to the whiteboard. Right? You come across stuff like this, and the point is that once you identify what it is, you can go ahead and actually override this. So the way it works like this. Let's say nothing bad, okay? Now I'll give you an example of bad, but it still works. See this stitches here? You come in and make it worse. That would be a bad move. However, you still upstaged this because now she forgets about the original thing because you just became worse. Now the goal is to become better, right? Here's another example of becoming worse. You come in, you see the band-aid here. Instead of becoming the band-aid, you are the one that took off the band-aid and squirt some lemon, so now it hurts even more. Right? Again, you did upstage it, but it's a bad move. Now, what we really want, right, is for you to come in and instead of this being like this, right, you can do something good to where the scar becomes a happy face, right? Basically, you're doing good stuff. You come in and you still have all this space to work with, right? Which fun, and not depending on your skills, right? A heart. Now, that's not literal, right? Like you're drawing this, but symbolically, you're making this whiteboard better, is the point, right? So that's basically how it works. Simple analogy, right? Simple theory, hypothetical. Right now, you ain't gonna be dealing with a beat up whiteboard like this. Mostly, they're clean enough for you to override anything, right? Emotional or stuff like that, right? However, you will be dealing with this, meaning it ain't gonna be clean. Now, there's two types. I don't want to complicate it, but the point is, right? There's good lines, right? Like maybe a happy memory, bam, of when she once had a house, right? Or lived with someone, right? She's got a happy memory. However, there's loom and gloom, right? Because something went down, right? Now you got this, it's raining. You can come in, and I'll give you an example. You stop the rain, right? All of a sudden, now it's snow, right? Or sunshine, that would be you, and you've created a rainbow. Right, you get the point. I mean, the point is you're upstaging whatever it is that is hurting her or worrying her or fear, whatever it is, right? You can always come in and make it better, is my point, which is the actual goal. You don't come in, look at the board, and be like, this shitty board. So you're going to add your own scratches, right? Making it worse. That's the point, and that's basically the whiteboard, right? Now, this can be done, obviously, if we go deeper, it can be done with literally everything, right? Now, let's say some guy, and let me give you a short example of something, right? Let's say she goes on a date. That's a perfect example. She goes on a date, right? First date, sucks or whatever. The guy shows her a good time. Bust the Cinderella move, which means he disappears. Ghosted. Boom. Now, why would he do that? We don't know just yet in this hypothetical example. Right? The point is, he now left this. Right? Ghost. He busted a ghost move, right? So that's now on the whiteboard. Meaning, this here, right? And this is a perfect example. He now ghosted her. So now she has this in the back of her mind as a fear. Now, any date going forward, no one's ever done this, so you can see why this is higher up on the whiteboard. Does that make sense? So, obviously, what you have to do is upstage this ghost thing because you can never, basically, you can never make her feel what this made her feel on that day because you would never do that, right? which is what usually guys do, which is why women tell them, well, you know, this one guy once did this, and you sit there and your classic move of, well, I would never do that, right? now, now you're behind this. So you have to think outside the box and be good enough as a man to understand this, first of all. And second, use the whiteboard theory, which means you come in and you upstage this move somehow. Now, you could do it in a bad way, right? Or you can think outside the box, like I said, and upstage this somehow. Now, right now, I can't think of something. I can only think of something in a bad way, like, right? Like where you ghost her in for something else, right? Ghosting, like let's say you do this, right? Because I can only think of a bad way of how it works, basically, for now, right? So you bust the same move, only you tell her what you did. Oh, I went with some other girl. Boom, now you did the ghosting for someone else. Right? So now it just got bigger, right? Of course, you forgot about this because you just made it bigger. But that's just an example, so don't take it tyrant way. But there you go. That's basically the whiteboard. And of course, you can sit down and think about it and make it work, right? And make it your own. But there you go. Once again, another example. And I know how it sounds. I know how it sounds. Right? It's like pseudoscience slash crazy or whatever, whatever. But trust me, if you really think about it and you actually sit down and I'm actually able to explain it, because it is a difficult thing to understand and actually comprehend, and to actually not sit there and shut your mind to it, right? Go, well, what the hell? No way. But this is, trust me, it makes perfect sense once you understand all the other puzzle pieces. But I've been talking about the whiteboard for a while, and this is basically it. And of course, I could elaborate even more on how it. But for now, just a quick video, right? Which is the point. Now, there, of course, I have a grading system, right? Like, for example, right? There's 3 scratches, again, that you must really watch out. And I leave you with this because this is the crazy one, right? One is kids. That's the worst because there's nothing you can do for these type of stains, right? That's it. Done. You got the stains. Now you got big cracks, right? That would be injuries, right? That would be psychological and emotional damages. And then there's scratches, right? Scratches would be body count. Now, of course, again, that's taboo, right? That's why I don't want to touch those, because those are still, it's still but the same premise and it works the exact same way. However, people don't want to talk about that stuff because that's stuff that's there and stuff that cannot be changed, whether you want to believe in my whiteboard or not. That shit that cannot be touched, and there it is, and that's why it's taboo. And no one wants to face it. Right? But there you go. You now have a clear path on how you can face it if you're man enough or want it that bad. So there you go. Another clear example, the whiteboard. Right. So there you go. Space Literature out. If you like the video, give me a like. Subscribe. Many more videos to come. This is a quick one for you. So there's the whiteboard. Yeah, I got other ones for you. So I'll see you on the next video.